Good morning, guys. And tell me if I'm audible.
Good
Yes, you're
morning.
audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
So the thing is that till the previous day, that was day two. Let's see, I consider it to be the last day of our backend. We have completed everything that we need at least for the core basic operations, be it the APIs, be it the security, right? Anything more that is any personalized APIs or anything that you want to include into your project will be like you have to do that by yourself or like in any other way possible. Most of the core basic requirements those are needed for our backend to as per our problem statement. Like I tried to cover those. Anything left, I will cover it. Else, the basics are done. So today we will be moving forward to front end. Right? And this today's session would be first we will start off by whatever requirements and installations that are needed to be done. Next thing would be going through the uh, file structure for the front end. And finally, we can see how the pages are getting rendered. And we try to create a very one of a page and we'll see if we can render that out. Right. Mm, yes, that would be right. Okay, for the installations, what we need is sharing my entire screen. Yeah, right. Okay. So starting off with the installations, just go for Vue.js documentation. Again, there is a thing that I want to like say it again that if you remember from the day zero that we were having discussion about the problem statement and stuff, that day I said that at least for the bootcamp we'll be going with the option for CLI, right? So CLI, there is like even that day also I'm not sure if I was that clear or not. So there is two things and people get confused in that. I was talking about Vue CLI, right? If you search for Vue CLI, you'll get something else. There is this one, but this is different. This is an service or uh, yeah, basically it's an it's a package that you can use to create the project. Okay, but the CLI that I'm talking about is the idea for how you are like building your project, like building your as in a front end. Right? So the front end build can be built based on a CDN pathway or else a CLI thing. Right? In CDN, what are we doing? We are not importing and we are not getting everything in our local system. Rather, everything that is related to Vue.js stays in the servers, right? And we pull down from the servers to the broadcast. So in CLI, what we can into our local system and local system also wherever the front end are like we are building the front end starting from wherever it is. So we have everything with us at that point of time, like not any dependency. Even there is one more thing. There are so many functionalities and features that you cannot bring down if you are going for CDN. Okay, so again, CLI is an best idea to proceed with. Next thing would be error debug and stuff. It's like much easier, I would say. Right? Even there is something like if you are going with the CDN option, in that case, you have to use your backend only to render out the um, render out the front end pages, right? In here you will be getting a different server. If you are proceeding with CLI, then in that case you will be running two different servers. Front end is totally separated out from the back end. Back like none of the thing is dependent on each other. Until unless you come for the data, but at least till that point, it's like totally separated out. Nothing is dependent. Next thing would be again the features and the final like the next and final thing would be the structure of the project. It would be much better than CDN. In CDN, what you have to do, you have to manually like I'm not saying that yes you cannot do it, but at least multiple people may be starting up for like maybe coming to web development for the first time, right? Even for them, going through like, uh, again, see, forget about it, that thing. What am I trying to say is that it would be like you will be getting a structured project, okay? Structured project as in like if you are using this, using like if you are going for CLI, there are multiple options that you can choose from. Multiple options, as in the service providers that I'm talking about, like UCLI, then White. Okay, even if you go through the documentation over here, get started. Quick start. Yeah, quick start. If you see over here, you are getting a command, right? If you run this command, and even it's same for UCLI too. If you run those commands, so what it will do, it will like the service providers will create you a sample project, right? With whatever features, like with whatever default features they can include and stuff. With those, it will create a sample project. Now, what you can do, it could be a full-fledged as in whatever features that you have got, everything will be like will be tagged, attached, and you are ready to go. Right now, what you have to do, or what you can do, is like remove the default pages and start off with us working on your project. Okay, so that is again one more benefit that I go for. And even the best thing is that the error debug. Right? I have seen multiple cases in CDN, some few bugs that might be as silly as it could be, and it could take up a lot of time just to find it. Even that is not the case for CLA. So, for that, you'll be needing some installations. Again, you can see those. I guess they might have said that. Yeah. Make sure you have an up-to-date version of Node.js installed and your current working directory is one of whatever, blah blah blah. So what you have need to get is Node.js. Okay. And after Node.js, if you run this command, there is one more installation that is needed. That is create view. But if you do not do it manually, whenever you are running this command, it will go and check for it. If it is not there, then the installations will be done. Okay. Now, if you go for Node, if you search for Node.js, you'll find this website right in here. Let's go to the download section directly. Download. Hmm. Another thing is that depending on what OS you are on, you can click. You have to manually select it. Right? See, what I suggest is that if you are on Windows, in that case, you do not go for these commands, right? Because of the execution policies and all, like default execution policies might stop you to give out or let 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 you run the command and stuff. So there is something. So the best thing is you use the installer for Windows. Go and install Node.js. If you are on Linux, what you can do, the best thing that I would prefer is whatever is the latest version or the LTS version. Select that. Select the OS to be Linux. Linux, and using you go for NVM, right? NVM or any other thing. You could go for Brave or Brew or something, but go for NVM, right? And with what? With yarn, npm or npm. It's up to you. You are getting all the commands over here. Like you can choose anything. That is fine. I'm going for npm. And even for Mac also, you can like, run the commands and it will be okay. Right. Now, what I want to do is you can just go ahead and copy paste this into your terminal and it is done. As of now, I already have those, so like no use of running that. So let's try node minus 3, node 7. Acha, I have 20. Right. Let's go for the latest version. Right. So I will just copy it, paste it over here, and let it run. Okay. No worries, nothing. I do not have to do any extra check. I had 20.18. Most probably that would be the LTS one. No. Okay. Chalo. Now the node version that I have is the latest one. 24.3. Yeah. Okay. Even it would be the same result that you'd be seeing on your screen too if you are on Linux. Even for Windows that might be a different, but in final, like whenever you are done with it, go to the terminal, check the node version, you will see the similar kind of result that yes, this is the version. And for Mac too. After Node.js is done, basically from Node.js we won't be like really needing Node. I guess even for the server we might need, yeah, for the server and some smaller like places we will be needing Node.js. But apart from that, we will be majorly be worrying for npm, right? Npm or whatever package manager that you are opting for. Now again, so some other functionalities too we need Node, but yeah, apart from that, at least from the higher level view, we will be using npm to get the packages, right? JavaScript packages, Java system, so that we can include those in the project, right? Now, the thing is that let's run this command. But before that, I want to do some restructuring. So as we were doing, like every day's folder, we won't be touching that. Rather, we'll be creating a copy and renaming it to the newer day, right? So day 2 changes to day 3. Even there is something more that I want to do. In day 3, I want to create a folder, name it as backend, and copy everything, whatever that is in this folder, that is day 3. Basically, I'm moving everything into the backend direction, right? So that makes no problem or no issues, I guess, in that. Like, and I can give it a show that is, if I show it over here, so I have day 0, 1, 2, 3. Then in if I do in day 3, you'll see there's backend, and whatever that was in day 3 is shifted into backend. So just we got down another level. Like I changed the structure a bit, right? Not a huge difference. So I would take my terminal to day 3, right? Clear the terminal out, and I would run these two commands. Okay. Now here's the thing: running these two commands, I can go for CLI. Right? For CLI, you need one more installation that I already have, so I do not have to do like. See, I'll be showcasing both. Right now, it's a choice you want to which one you want to go for. I also ask like you'd ask you to give it a try by yourself to that try both the options. Right? See, I already have that like this one. Mm, this one I to see, and this one to see one. Right. Mm. Okay. So what I was talking about is, see, the command that you are getting in the Vue.js documentation, right? like go through the documentation, but the command that you are getting for the Vue.js documentation, there is a thing that is similar to Vue CLI. Vue CLI is a service, right? That we can get. The same way, there is one more thing that is white. Okay. You can directly go to white and start using that. Okay, I termed it as a something service as a tool. Okay. You can check that out. You can do multiple things. Okay. Now, what am I saying? You can go for white directly. Else, basically the command that you are running over here from the Vue.js documentation is basically from the backend perspective, it is running white. Okay. So the thing is that either white or Vue CLI. And even you can run this command. Just do not go much deeper, run this command. And it's done. Right. Okay. So how it works is that if you run npm, like do a check after you are done installation. Npm. I already have that. So npm create view at the rate latest. Run this command, you will get an interface on your terminal, right? See, it checked. I already have an npx and I already have create view, right? So it didn't ask me to do the installations, but if you do not have that, so it might ask you to confirm that yes, it wants to do the installation, like create view installation. You will be allowing that, right? Next thing, after that, it's an interactive terminal right now. Okay, so it needs a directory. Okay, so what it wants to do is in day 3, see, I'm running in day 3, right? So it would create me a sample project within a directory. Okay, and it wants the name, like directory name as in the folder name. Okay, I can go for this one, which is just press enter. That would work. No, it is working. So the project, the folder that you will create is view project, right? Now it is asking what features that I can include. See, even in the instruction, it is given. So just for the sake of restating it, use the arrow keys, the upward, downward arrow keys to navigate through the menu, and use the space bar to select whichever option that you want to go for. I want to keep it as raw it would be. So I'm just keeping the router. Okay. There is one thing that you want to skip for now, that is ESLint. If you are doing coding for a long time, you can go for ESLint. But if you are coding as in the front end, and if you are new to that, I would say please do not go for ESLint. That's a D-Day thing for you, right? That is because at least if you are starting new, that is because of the feature. Like, why are we using ESLint? Just to get down till the last most and simple most error that one could have and fix that. But that can always not. It could be the thing that yes, every s- minor to minor error needs to be gone to render it, right, or to run the project. That could not be the thing. Like, I'm running a project, there could be a slight smaller problem, right? But it would allow me to run the project. But if you are having ESLint won't allow you to run it. It will block it up. And even just to find that, it will be a long, long time. Okay. So again, currently there are multiple tools that you can use to fix that too. But yeah, of course, it's a choice that you want to make. And I want to keep my project as simple as I could as of now. Okay. Anything more is TypeScript, Pinia, and those things. You can also later on add it. Okay, later on you can add multiple other packages too. Basically, those are packages, right? You can later on include multiple other packages, features, and whatever that we need in the later stage too. Okay, this is not the end game. Right? I'm done selecting now. I will just press the enter button, and I will go to the next step. In here, it is asking for the experimental features. I don't need that, and it's done. Okay, it's done. As in, you can see in day three, I got another direction, that is view project, and even the files and mm, whatever things that we need are already in place. Right? Now, the next thing is that I will be running these two commands without guessing what is happening, but something would happen and it would be done. Right now, in this terminal, let it work, and in another terminal, I will cd into day three again. I would run that view CLI option. That is view create, and it requires a directory name. Let it be front end. Running this, and if you see, it's done over. So it is ready to go. View project, that is the one that we just created from the Vue.js documentation, or which was running white in the background, is ready to go. Okay. Now, what you can do if you go through this, I can do npm run there, right? Even if you open up this readme file, you can go through it and you will find that if I run this command, that is npm run dev, in that case I can run this front end server for this one. Right? If I run npm run, okay, you will see a server starting up. Right? Now let's cover this up. Okay. For view CLI, the command that I wrote was view create and the directory name. I opted for the directory name. Basically, I manually wrote the directory name to the front end. Okay. Now, in the next step, it is asking me if I want to go for any presets. Again, see, uh, I'll be using Vue 3, so I can go for this default preset, the first one, but it has ESLint, and I don't want that. So that is why I'm going for manually select features. Even not only for that reason, you can like go through it, go manually. If you still need ESLint, still I would ask you go manually. So like you will see what are the options, what features, what are the process that you need. Right? Okay. Selecting manual features. Now it is asking me if I want to keep Babel. Yes, I can keep Babel. Babel is like uh, making a project workable in the older browsers, right? Older versions of the browsers or older browsers. Then there's the router, and finally, like I'm keeping a router. Finally, removing ESLint. Okay, Vuex and stuff you can keep. Vuex is the store that was taught in your theory courses. I'm not going for Vuex, but Vuex implementation is not much of a huge thing. But yeah, you can do it. It can help you with the project. But still, if you are not using Vuex, it is still doable. Okay, like Vuex is a thing such that it could make your life easier or it could make your life difficult, at least for the implementation purposes. Okay. That you have to manage and think of. Right? Next thing, I will press enter and it is asking me the view version, Vue.js version. I would go for Vue 3. You also guys go for Vue 3. In terms of basic principle, you won't find a huge difference between Vue 2 and Vue 3. Right? So you can opt for Vue 3. Even why you go for the older version, go for the latest one. Then it is asking me use a history mode for router. See, what's the history mode for router? If you have used the banking websites or any government website, or in general, we do not see that, but government websites or banking websites, in that case, multiple websites will not allow you to use the browser navigation. Browser navigation, as in if you want to go for the previous page, it won't allow you, and the page will break and it would say that restart from the beginning, right? So the same thing Same similar kind of idea is over here too. If you want to allow it to go to the previous page, in that case, you just need to select yes. Okay, and I will be selecting yes. Then it's asking me for the configuration files. Configuration as in similar to now that in a moment, but for configuration, you select package.json. Okay, you can go for dedicated config files, but package.json is okay. Good. Okay. Then do I need this preset? Do I want to save it as a preset? That's what I'm selecting no. Okay. And it will run and create the project. But ending, give me a quick 30 seconds break. I will just jump off and come back again. Okay. Uh, so it is done. And you can see that it is also the front end and view page. Now, what I will do, you can see that I can run this server too. So cd directory name that I have opted for the front end. And if I run this command npm run, so you can go through the README file, you can get whatever command that you, whatever there is the command. And even you can change it. So not a huge thing. Okay. I'm running both the servers. And if I open up a browser and try that out, so if I go for localhost 80, you will see that it is the view CLI one. And this is the sample project that it has created me. And as I had selected view router, and so for that, it has created me two pages. Right? And here's the nav part. You can see it's the path is also getting changed about home. Even it's same for the Vue.js documentation, the one that we got from the Vue.js documentation, that is running on local host 5173. You can see this project was made for me sample project, and this is how you can navigate. See, the thing is that you're seeing it too differently, right? But what I say, in principle, both are same. Just that we are seeing it in terms of this end user view, that is, or whatever view that we are seeing is because of the styling that was implemented, right? If you remove all the styling on default pages, the sample, like the skeleton, will be same. See, so we can check this out. And what I was going to say is, acha, The thing is that if you expand both, see, the majorly the focus will our focus will be like, at least for a higher level view that I want to see is, see this three directories: node modules, public directory, src directory, and package.json, right? These are the four things that at least for you to kickstart is needed. Okay, the knowledge of this, and anything more you can just go through it, and you will be like, whenever you are starting, you will be finding those, like whatever other things that is there, you will be like getting yourself familiarized with those two. Now, also the readme, right? And other than that, if you open up the white project folder that was in the Vue.js documentation, you'll see that it's also same. There is node modules, public directory, src directory, and here JSON, package.json, right? Now there is one thing that is a bit different between those two folder folder structure. That is, in the public directory for front end, we have this index.html, right? But for Vue project, it's outside, right? Some so what I want to point out from this is that there could be slight differences between those two, but you will find everything that like that one have in the other one, right? Everything. It could be something like it is made as a different file over here. See, even you can see view.config.js, right? Here it could be white.config.js. Okay. It is how you have made it. Yeah. So some configuration, some smaller or minor changes, but from a higher level view, both are same. Okay. Both are, I would say, same but similar. I don't know if there is a difference, but yeah, similar would be a correct word to use. Whatever. Okay. So what am I saying? If I go through one, the other one can be inferred that it's similar. If you can give it a try by yourself too. Okay. And right now, if you want, I will just commit it so that you can get it, or else you can like build it through your own right notes. Okay, let's focus on this. See, whatever that I'm going to say in the next 2 to 3 minutes, do not please quote me terminologically or theoretically correct, but whatever that I'm going to say is just to make you understand why and what could be it in terms of backend. Okay, sorry, it was a bit vague, but get my point. I'm going to talk about the node modules directory and package.json. Okay. Think of it in this way. From backend, if you remember, we were using virtual environment and there was a directory. I kept the directory over here that is .ve and v, and apart from that, in backend you can find the requirements.txt. Even the virtual environment can stay in backend also. You just need to choose a location where you want to keep it. I kept it over there, but I could have kept it within this too. Anyways, what I am saying is, uh, there is a virtual environment, and if you see, or if you think of it in this way, what do we have in virtual environment? We have the Python libraries that we will be using, right? In a similar idea, whatever package that you will be using for your front end is stored in this node modules. Okay, and that's a must. Like for virtual environment, you can skip, like if you have the libraries in your global environment, like whatever libraries that you have in the virtual environment, if you have those two in global environment, in that case you do not need the virtual environment, and if you run the project, it will run. Project as in the backend, it would run, but it's not the same for front end. Front end really needs node modules. Okay, And how to get that? So previously, if you remember, I started off with Vue project. That is the command from Vue.js documentation, right? It After it was done, you can see it gave me. See, after I'm done selecting the options, then it said that it has created the project, and next thing it is asking me to run these three commands. Okay. First command is to take my terminal into this directory, within this directory, right? Or on this directory, or whatever that you want to say. Next thing, the next command is npm install. What is that? It is similar to your backend where you want to run the command, and that would go ahead and install all the Python libraries. Right? All the and whatever that I'm not worried about, but just get my point. There was something like pip install -r and whatever file name that you have, all the like list of the Python libraries, right? Over here, you do not need that. Rather, what is needed is npm install. So what it would do is it would just go ahead and create the node modules. Okay. Now here's the thing. I will be repeating this in the last day, but still, that is whenever you are going to submit your project, you have to create a zip, right? In that case, please be aware, if you are going for a virtual environment, you should keep, like from the backend perspective, you should keep the requirements.txt, right? You should maintain the requirements.txt, or at least after you are done building your backend project, a backend part, you should update it twice, thrice, how many times you want before submission, so that you have a full-fledged requirements.txt, so that you, whenever you are going for Fiverr, in that case, you won't find a error, okay, or something. Anyways, uh, from the backend perspective, you have to remove the virtual environment before you submit. Even it is same for the front end too. From the front end, you have to remove node modules. Now, here's the thing. Both are a bit different. If you consider from the backend side, the virtual environment won't be a huge thing. It can take up something 1 or 2 MBs or something, right? At max. Or, or somewhat more. But like what am I saying is there is a limit for your zip file, for your front end, like for your project zip file that you can go for. Like it's like 10 MBs or something. It cannot be, you cannot submit a zip file beyond that. So keeping virtual environment won't be a huge thing in terms of storage, but the thing is that whenever the like there are checks, right, that are made, so you cannot have the virtual environment, Python virtual environment in that case. But in case of front end, the node modules will somewhat take up 230 MBs or 240 MBs, and there could be something 12 or 15,000 odd files in node modules. So you cannot have that. And even 200 MBs, it's like a no-go. Like you need to remove 190 MBs. So that's not possible, right? So what you have to do, you have to totally remove the node modules before you submit. Now, running this command, that is npm install, whatever package that you had included into your node modules for your front end, it will be updated. See, how the requirements for txt got updated is by us, our effort, right? But it's not the same for front end. If you check package.json, you will see the dependencies over here, right? Whenever I include a new dependency, what it would do, it would automatically update package.json. So you do not have to do anything. And you cannot remove package.json. Like if you remove package.json, the project will fall down. It won't work, right? So that's the thing. And yeah, that will.
Sorry, can I ask a question here, please?
Yes, yes, please, please.
Is it true to say that the package.json is kind of the equivalent of the
Yes, yes.
requirements.txt, right?
Equivalent of requirement that is right.
And they both are acceptable and condensed spec file that can go into the zip folder that finally we're going to
True, true.
submit.
You have to include those. Right.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah.
Sure, thanks. Uh, in here, for example, I'm just focusing for it right now, just to demonstrate how can I include a package. For example, I'm installing npm install. What was that? Axios. Okay, Axios. If I run this command, you'll see the difference in the package of JS. That it would get updated automatically. It should have. I got an error. I got an error. Yes. Okay, let's see. I got an error. Hmm. It's a warning, but it should have been updated with Axios. Hmm.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think you're in a different folder. If you updated the white one.
oh, my bad, my bad. That is just, yes. Axios got updated, right? So, in
Yeah,
a similar way,
that is.
you do not have to manually look out for packets of this, and you are like it will be handled by npm only. So that is okay. You can like see that yes, the difference what was included. Next thing, uh, as view CLI is running, let's do one thing. I'll go through the pages, how the pages are getting mounted up, and let's dig deeper. So our major focus, see, there, as I said that I had discussed node modules and package.json. Apart from that, the two locations could be public directory and SRC directory, and even we will be staying within the SRC directory major for maximum amount of time. Okay. In I'm coming to that in a moment for the SRC directory, but before that, in the public directory, I only have a icon and basically I only have that index.html. But if you remember, for your from your theory course too, we had that we we need an base index file, and on top of it, we can run the Vue.js stuff, right? It's the same for C. Like they were using CDN, but it's the same for CLI too. We need a base HTML file, and there would be the only single HTML file that we'll be having. Right? And on top of it, the pages, components, features, whatever that you want to say, will be running on top of it. Okay. So consider this. Let's check the index.html file. If you see, majorly what we have the body tag, head tag, and the basic HTML stuff, right? And let's focus on the view that we'll be seeing, and the views will be rendered out in within the body, right? Within body, I have a no script tag. Again, the no script tag is just for the sake that if you do not have JS activated into your browser, in that case, it would show an error that please activate the JS if it's not activated. So JavaScript. Okay. Let's skip the no script part. Okay. I expect that yes, I already have used JavaScript activated into my browser, and I can like browser and system, and I won't be seeing that. Okay. After that, what do I have? On line 14, I have this div tag, right? Div tag that is I did as app. Okay. And if you consider that, it's empty, right? Nothing is in here. Div tag is empty. Now, what do you expect? If I try to render it out, let's not do it in that way. Rather, do something like um, if I'm trying to run that render that HTML file, it's empty as of now. Right? Index.file doesn't have anything showcased. but it is getting mounted. I can, like, if I open up the dev tools, you will see that it's getting mounted. See, it is the same HTML file, right? If you think of it in that way, there's the no script tag, and there's the div tag, right? It's the same one. So I can see that it is getting mounted. Now let's do something else. Let's add a h1 tag, right, and write index.html or save it. And if I refresh it, you can see it popped up. So with this, I can also reconfirm that yes, we are rendering out the same index.html, and that index.html is empty as of now. Okay, so there was an issue with my network connection. Could anyone tell me at what point of time I got left out? What was I saying?
Sorry.
You are confirming that the index.html is the one HTML file we're using to render.
And did I show it in the browser? Did I do anything else?
Yeah, you showed that in the browser. You added h1 tag and yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So I'm just repeating this, like repeating a bit. So as I was saying, like I added a h1 tag, and I saw that yes, so this is the same HTML file, and even in here, whenever like I
We
was
can't see
seeing
your
the page.
screen.
Okay, right. So I was talking about this one. If I manually run the file, I'm not rendering the file. If I rendering as in I'm not using a server to mount the file on the browser, but rather I'm just okay. So what am I saying is I'm just individually rendering out the HTML file. In that case, HTML file is empty, right? But if I am trying to see the front end server, front end server as a whole, so in that case, what I was saying is index.html is getting mounted on top of the browser, and on top of index.html, the components of the pages are mounted, right? So that is why we are seeing something on our screen. But if I could confirm that the h1 tag still stays, that is because index.html is here, right? Next thing could be how and where, like how and what are getting mounted. Let's come to how first, right? How? I'm saying something is getting mounted within this body, right? Within this. Let's check that out before I proceed. If I open up the inspect window and go to elements, you'll see that, see, there could be multiple things, and this last three tags after this comment is from my side. Okay, you won't be seeing that on your system. And even if I want to do it from any other browser, in that case too, I won't be seeing that. What browser do I have? I have Firefox. If I open the inspect window, and you'll see after the comment there's nothing, right? And this is the correct view. So I have some extensions and all. That is because I am seeing those extra tags. But apart from that, even for you too, you won't be seeing those stuff. And if I expand this, like you can see, here's the body, right? Within the body, the no script is commented out, and basically it is not working as of now. Apart from that, here's the h1 tag that I added, and after that, the div tag, the empty div tag in question, that is over here, it is having something. So what is happening? Whatever that you are seeing on your screen is getting rendered on top of index.html, right? That is, it is being added within the div tag, right? See, here's a nav bar, here's another div tag, but you'll see the total view that we are seeing on our screen currently. I can zoom out if I go. See, if I stay on the div tag, that is the full view that is being selected right now. Okay. So everything that we are seeing on our screen is through this div tag. Okay. If I go to the nav bar, you can see that only the nav bar is selected. And after that, the child div tag, it's a component, right? It's a page or component, whatever you want to say. Basically, it's not the total view, but yeah, majority is coming from. Okay. Now, this is the thing, how that I was talking about. So how stays in the src directory? If you expand src directory, you will find this main.js, right? I'm not going into the configurations, but staying in main.js. What do we have in main.js? We are importing three things, okay? And finally, on line 5, just you consider, do not need to have a working under like a full-fledged understanding of what command that is written over in line 5, but it's very simple. If you read it with normal English, you will get the idea. That is, it is saying create app, use something, and mount on something. So what you will what you will think, that create a app, create the front end app, use something, and finally mount it on somewhere, right? That somewhere it is index.html. See, has app basically the ID that the div tag has. For example, if I have it twice, hey, let's try twice. Let's see what it will do. Will it mount twice? No, only a single thing. Right? So, acha, if I change it, see, it's gone. So basically, what is happening? Main.js is trying to mount the front end on top of this, like the view app on top of this div tag, right? That was added as app. Okay, that is this one. This part is cleared right now. That it is trying to mount itself, trying to mount the view app on the div tag that is ID'd as app. Okay, you can change it. You can like keep it. No worries to that. But anyways, let's come to these three lines, three import statements, and the three import statements are totally different from each other, right? The first difference for all the import statements could be something like the structure. If you see thoroughly, you will find that it's similar to the Python import statement, but the thing is that from Python, you have to write the location or the library first, that is from where, and then you want to import what. Right? Over here, it is the opposite. You want to it's like you want to import what and from where. Okay, two parts. Okay. And I was talking about the three import statements. Those three are different. As in, see, the first statement says that I want to import create app from view. That is a package. Okay. Then in line 2, I want to import app from app.view. That is a file. On line 3, I want to import router from a directory router. Okay. Three different things. Okay. On line 5, let's see. The create app method that we got from the package view, we are using it and passing the app that we got from app.view. And finally, we are using the router or including the router that we got from the router directory. That is the view router we are talking about. Okay. And finally, we are creating everything up and mounting it on top of the index.html file. Right. Now, I can show you one more quick thing, that is, if I go to index.html file, add some, and see this. I am having two h1 tags. That is okay. And both the h1 tags represents that everything that we are seeing on our page as a component is within the div tag. Because I have kept the h2 tags, two h1 tags uh, besides the div tag. So on top, one is just on top of it, and the one is just below it. Right? Two h1 tags. Now here's the thing. If I manually refresh it very quickly, you will see that what is happening. The index.html gets mounted instantaneously. It doesn't face any delay. Okay. I'm trying to refreshing it, so it's like getting remounted every time. Okay. And index.html is getting mounted instantaneously, so that is why you are seeing two h1 tags. But if I remove it, so if I stop doing that, what did you see? If I try it again, what did you see, or what are you seeing? Is the h1 tag that is below the div tag is getting shifted downwards. That is, after the index.html is getting mounted, the div tag is getting populated, and that takes a time. That is okay, but this represents that the mounting is happening. That is from here. That mounting is happening. So everything that is included is whatever view we are seeing is coming from this app. Okay, app line number 2. Now let's see what is that. Okay. If you remember from your theory course again, what is the file structure for a view file, right? Or a page or a component? So there are three tags that we'll be worried about. One is the style tag, another one is the template tag, and finally there's the script tag. Three: template, script, style. So from this three, at least for the bootcamp, I would be least interested into the style tag. We'll be keeping our focus majorly on the template and the script tag. Template, you can think of it in this way: whatever that you are seeing on your screen, that is within template, and whatever logic is needed for those template, it stays in the script tag, right? Whatever logic, functionalities, and anything that you can think of will stay in the script tag. As of now, in terms of this app.view, I do not have anything. So the script tag is not there. Script could be possible, but I'm just adding that. That's fine. Next thing, if I expand template, this is what you are seeing on your screen, right? If if you remember, if I open up the inspect window and here's the div tag. If I expand the div tag to what are we seeing? Here's the navbar and here's the div. Here's another div. And you can find that within template. Here's the navbar and this is the other div. So you can uh, accept that router view is acting as a proxy for that other div, right? Like, if I consider this, if I'm not aware of what view router is and that stuff, so you can say that it's an proxy. And the thing is that let's do something. I'm adding one more div and adding a class to it. I'm saying view app. Why did I do it is not a huge thing. I just thought something. Right? See, uh, go back to this. Go back to this inspect window. And within this div tag is from index.html, right? That is ID'd as app. If I expand it, I will be getting one more div. And for that div or that div is having the class as view app. So what am I saying? This div tag is there in index.html. And the next thing is that there is one more div tag within that. And this div tag is containing everything that we are seeing on our screen. And this div tag is getting mounted. Okay. Just changing the structure a bit. Okay. Just to demonstrate in terms of the from the inspect window. Right. Next thing we are seeing the navbar and stuff. Again, you can see the navbar is there and there's another div. Okay. So as of now, I can say that app.view is getting mounted on top of the browser. And from app.view, I don't have much thing over here, but you can consider it to be an uh, terminal location for your view project. That is, if you remember from app.py, what do we have? Previously, in terms of backend, we might have or had, or as started with day 0, I might have everything within the app file, right? Then after the days passed, day 1, day 2, what did I do? I broke down the app.py into multiple files to categorize every respective code to that specific or segmented it out into a specific location. In a similar way, you can think of it in this, like over here. What are we doing? We have categorized and kept everything aside, and finally getting everything and including everything within this app.view. And this app.view is finally getting mounted by main.js onto index.html. Okay, got my point? Anything like, is it clear? Is it okay? Is it good to go? I don't know.
Yes, yes. You can continue.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Chalo, thank you. Next thing, we are seeing the pages, right? As of now, I said that app.view is the terminal location for our front end. Okay. At least in terms of the views and stuff. Next thing, we are seeing something on our screen, right? Now the navbar is static to app.view, but apart from that, there is the router view. Right? The view router is the next thing that we'll be focusing on. If you see the navbar, it is having this two tags. That is router link, and finally on line 7, it's the router view, right? If you remember from your theory course again, it's like a I don't know, it's like a phrase that I say repeatedly, but you have to revisit those, right? Or remember those, try to remember, right? Even if you do not remember, that's not an issue over here. So what am I saying? Those two kind of tags are coming from the view router, okay? And basically, it is only for this, like momentarily, as in, it will stay from the backend side only. Whenever the page is getting rendered out, it will be gone. Router link will be gone. Router view will be gone. But how it will be going away? That is, whenever the thing is getting rendered out, it will be up, like it will be uh, changed with the correct thing. As in, see what is happening whenever I go to about, it is getting remounted, re-rendered, right? Like re-rendered as in the index.html file stays the same, but whatever that is within the div tag is getting updated. Okay, I can show you that from here. Like if I click on about, see, this is the div tag that is in question, right? If I click on that, see, the content of that specific div tag is getting updated. See, it's getting updated, right? If I expand it more, if I stay over here, you'll see. Finally, focus on this line, right? Div class home, right? If I'm going to about, it is like the class is changing to about and home respectively, right? So what is happening in terms of the browser is has rendered out index.html. It is fine. It is not changing at all. But what is changing? That is whatever is within the div tag. Okay, it's getting updated. Right now, how is that so? That is because of view router. View router. And okay, I forgot what I was going to say. That is, if we open up the inspect window again, in here, here's the navbar. It was static, but within navbar, what I had is the router link tags. But if I expand it now, you will see that it's gone. It's not a router link anymore. Rather, it's an anchor tag, right? And see, the class that you are seeing is a bit different. So, okay, class thing is for styling and stuff. You don't need to worry about that. Even the Arya wala, uh, Arya current wala like the attribute, that is also for styling. Okay. Apart from that, what are we doing? That is a href forward slash, and the other one is a href about. That is the same thing that you are doing in your Mad1 project, right? In Mad1, you were just, if you want to add a link, what you used to do, you used to use anchor tag, and in the href, you used to write the endpoint, right? The same thing is done over here, but with the help of view router, because we are using view router to iterate iterate through the pages, right? Even I said something wrong. Okay, I said something wrong. The index.html is also getting, no, it's not getting remounted. It's getting refreshed. Yeah, refreshed. Yeah. The base location is not getting remounted. Yeah. Base location is not getting remounted. Even app.view is not getting remounted again and again. Only the change that is happening is within app.view. Okay. The change is happening in router view. Even app.view is not getting remounted. Yeah. Right. So index.html, like till this point, see this flow, right? I'm flowing from left to rightwards. Index.html is getting mounted with by using main.js, and mounted with what? Mounted with app.view. App.view stays same. Right? It's not getting changed. Whenever I click on the links, the change is happening within this tag. That is on line 7, router view. Nothing else. Right. Uh okay, so the anchor tag that I was talking about. Right? And Finally, the router view. Let's focus on that router view. The router view is being changed into a div tag, right? That div tag is basically the pages that you like. I said no. Every page will have a template tag, script tag, style tag, and stuff. But whatever that you see or whatever that will be replaced with the view router is basically the template tag of each page or each file. Okay. For example, for the home page, there would or for the about page, there would be a template tag, right? So whatever that is within the template tag will be replaced in here. Okay. If you see, the about page is within views. Okay. I'm coming to that in a moment. But whatever that is in the template tag will be replaced in it. Let's see. Now the next step is the router, view router that we are talking about for so long. Okay. That is, see, as of now, we started from index.html by using main.js. We mounted app.view, and in app.view, there is the view router, right? So all the logic for view router stays in this file. That is index.js, which is within the router directory. Okay. In here, you will find two variables. One is the list, or one is the array, that is routes. Another one is basically the method initialized into this variable, and finally this variable is getting exported. Okay, and because of this statement I can get that in main.js line 3. Okay, so next thing, we are using the methods that we are getting from the view router package. Okay, and apart after that, if you see this array, it is having two JSON objects, right? And each JSON object is for a view along with the path that is declared for it. Okay. So the index path is for home, right? If you click on this is currently in the index path. It is the home page, and the component that is being used is from here. That is what, like, however, wherever you are importing it from. I'm importing it from the src directories view directory, and within the view directory there is a file named as view home view.view. Again, view, it's the pronunciation is same, so please be aware and try to catch the context, right? Home view.view. And it's in a similar way, it's for the about page. Okay, we are declaring out the endpoint, giving the endpoint a name. Right, it's not being used right now, but we'll be using that in a moment. But after that, in here, I'm just using that direct call function or something was there. No, I forgot the name for the function, but we are like defining a function and calling it directly. Okay, we are not like I have defined the function someplace and like calling it again. Not, it's like the direct call function or what, I forgot. I truly forgot the name. But basically, the idea is same.
Lambda
I can
function.
import it and yeah, right. Lambda function. And what am I doing is basically I'm trying to import whatever component that we have in that file and use it in here. Right? I can do some in a similar way. I can do this the about and about. Okay, I can replace this, and it would work in the same idea. What is it taking time? Don't know what is it. An edit back. Component that is to be used is about here. That's it's okay. It is still compiling. Let it finish. It usually doesn't take this much time. Even the changes that I'm making was instantaneously, but it's taking time. Okay, it's that. Now you can see the difference that it is ain't a difference at all. Okay, so it's just to showcase how what are the possible ways that you can use. This is not an okay. Now you're saying seeing the pages, right? Let's dig deeper into whatever the final views are. Let's start with about. So about is in the view directory. If I open it, so it is completing the flow, the about flow. That is the final thing that we'll be seeing on our screen is this, right? Even the thing that I was saying in about view, up view, there is the router view tag, right? In here, whatever that the template tag is having, that is starting from line 2 to line 4, is getting shifted over here. That is here. We were seeing the div class as about, right? That is coming from here. Right? Retry it. We will try to show it again. Yeah, and this is the here, like there's a navbar, and below navbar there's the router view, right? Router view, and router view is replaced by what? The template tag from about view.view. And template tag, what did it have? It had a base, like it had a div tag, and within the div tag there is a h1 tag, and here is it. It is right. Div tag. Okay. So this is for about, and finally we can complete our flow for each for this about page. But there is something left for home view. Let's see. Home view. If you see home view is it's again same. There's the div class, and we have so many things within that. Right here you can see. There's the image tag and there's the content. Right now, if you go to home view, the thing that gets changed in terms of about view is that about view, whatever that we are seeing on about view is totally coming from about view.view file only. But in home view, the thing is that you see within the div within the template tag, here's the div tag that is good to go. Like it's a good practice to follow, right? So that we can from the inspect window we can see and have, like, it's in structured way, right? I would also recommend you whenever you are doing this kind of stuff, please uh, structure it in a clear, proper way. It would help you debug errors and stuff, and it's a good practice to follow. Right. So there's a div tag, and within the div tag we are seeing everything, right? So whatever that I have selected right now is within the div tag. But what do you see? In the div tag, I am having an image tag. Okay, that is entering out the image. That is fine. Next thing, I have a hello world tag. Is it a HTML tag? No. Is it a user defined tag? Yes. Why did I define it and how is it working? I'm coming to that in a moment. But what it is representing is whatever that I have selected right now is because of that user defined tag. Okay, that hello world tag. Right? So what is that? If you see in the script tag, that is basically starts from here, line 12, export default, and we are naming this view as home view. Okay, here is one more catch. If you see, if you see home view, I have named this component to be home view, right? Home view, and that I am including in the router, importing in the router. This one. But did I do anything as about view in about view.view file? If you see, no, right? Nothing is here. I could have done it in this way. Git script, then in here export default, and I could have named it about view. Or in normal perspective, now you will say that yes, now it is possible, but previously it wasn't possible. But what I say is that that is possible. Okay. So what is happening if you do not write it down? Let's see. So it is trying to fetch everything that is in about view and add it to like add it through this about you, whatever that you write. For example, if I skip this part or even let it be there, okay. Instead, I change it to about, okay, and about over here. Okay. I guess it got restarted. Yes, it got restarted. And if I refresh it, go to about, it still is possible. Okay. So there is one more thing. So, but it's a good practice and habit to keep so that okay. About next thing is within export default, you are having the component, right? So everything that is within your Vue.js stuff will stay in this export default only. The import statements and some methods can stay within outside of that, but yeah, it's how you process, right? Even it's nothing like you have to keep everything within export default. Right? There are n number of fields. If you are going for PNP, and then it might be a different structure. Even if you write it by yourself, it could be a different structure. So it's again, it's not a full-fledged hardcore way that you have to follow. Right? It's how you want to make your project. So there's a number of ways. So next thing on line 14, the thing that we are talking about is the component. So if you see within component, I have declared this hello world that I am using on line 4. And that is basically a component that I am getting from a different file. But what is component? Basically, for a file, I have broken it down into some other part or some other smaller part. Okay. So this is the total home view. I could have kept it in home view.view file. But what did I do? The rest of the text part, I have kept it in a different file. Okay. Uh, in terms of backend, you can consider it to be the config part, right? For example, I cannot uh, get a total equivalent for this, but yeah, I could have. For example, if you remember from the monthly uh, activity report wala schedule task that is in the backend job, what they want is they want you to make a HTML file and attach it to the email and send it to the user, right? So what can you do is like, and anyways, you might be using, basically you are just trying to get the data into a HTML file or HTML format and add it to the email and send it back, right? So for that, what can you do? You could have wrote down the index, sorry, not index, but HTML tags that you will be including in the file only. Okay. And it could be done in multiple ways. Rather, what can you do is one more thing, that is keep a different HTML file as a template. Okay. I could have done it. So the idea is same, right? Within the method, what am I doing? If I would write the HTML tags, that is possible within that method only, whatever method that I will be calling for the schedule jobs, monthly activity report, right? Or else, what could I do? I could keep the HTML template separately and call it there. That is also possible, right? So, like, if you are getting my point, or let's consider the configs for now, the app configs. What did I do? Basically, I kept the app, like whatever keys and values, key value pair that is needed for my app config, I have kept it in a different file, config.py. I could have added that in app.py. That is possible, but what did I do? I am just keeping it there and calling it and including it within my app, right? The similar idea is done over here. Okay, segmented it into a different file, and that is the component, view component. It was again covered in the theory course. So see this. As I have covered, as I have categorized that, as I have declared that it's a component, so that I can use a user defined tag, right? And that is coming from this file. This file, as in, see, I could have used a double dot over here. Else, what can you do is write start with at the rate. At the rate is an alias, right? Alias, as in if you have done the system command codes, then it's like can get it. Right? Alias as in like if you see like if I can just show you. So if I cd into tilde, what is that? Tilde is basically cd slash home and the user, right? That is the same thing. Okay. Tilde is a alias. The same way that it is an alias for the src directory. Okay. Then within src directory, there is a components directory, and within that I'm having this hello world.view file. Right? किधर गया component? Yeah. Hello world.view file. And within this template, you are seeing this class hello, right? See how it is working. So this is the div tag from index.html. Within that, I have added one more div in the app.view. So this is the app.view uh, div tag. Within that, I am having the navbar and the class home. See, home is coming from home view.view home, and hello world.view is having the class hello, right? So if I expand it, you will see the image tag, and after that there is the user defined tag, right? User defined hello world tag. That is the div tag over here, class as hello. Okay. And after that we are having the data. So it's like whatever that is as a template or whatever that is in the template is added to this user defined tag, or like replaced by the user defined tag. Okay. And after that within the script I am like doing the same thing, naming this component, and finally over here nothing to be done. And if you right, if you are done with uh, even if you skip the export default part, still it would work, right? You just need to get whatever that you have in the file and import it, and finally declare it as a component, and you can use it. Okay. After that, here's the thing: you're seeing an attribute attached to that tag, that is message. That is basically the view prop that we are talking about, that we have discussed in the lectures. How is that possible? Is within export default you have to like declare a variable that is message or data field, and you can set the type string, and finally we are rendering it out in this h1 tag. Okay. If you remember from the MAD 1 project, it's in a similar format of Jinja 2, right? If you want to render any variable or any data field, what you used to do? You used to use double curly bracket. It's same over here too. Okay. So that is why we are seeing this. And this welcome to your Vue.js app is coming from here, right? The component. For example, I write my name. For example, it changed to Vue.js apps. Okay. This is what you will be seeing. And this completes the flow. Right? Did you get what did I say for this now? So again, okay, before I ask that, so consider the flow. Index.html is getting mounted on top of the browser using main.js, and main.js is mounting app.view on top of index.html, right? And app.view is having the router view tag, so that we are seeing the pages or seeing the components on our screen, different components. And that is possible because of this index.js file that is representing view router. Okay. And with this we are seeing the final views. Okay. If you want to break the view into components and parts, that is up to you, but we are seeing this views. Okay. If you have got what I said, it's okay. If not, what I want you to do is just go through, like try to create a project by yourself and give it a try. It won't be a huge thing. It would be okay to get what am I trying to say. Chalo. Now that is done. The last thing that I want to do for today is to create a page by myself and give it a try. Along with that, I want to do something more. That is within Vue. I'd create test Vue dot Again, you do not have to name it in this way, that whatever view and give. whatever or however you want to name the files, it's okay. Even there is something more. You can also categorize the views. Okay. It is how you are creating the folder structure for your project, right? How segmented you want to keep it. That's fine. Anyways, any day. And even you can use different directories of your own, your choice. That is also possible. I think because you will be finally writing the import statements by yourself. So yeah. So what three tags that we have for each file? That is template, script, and style tag. Right. I said that I would be least interested to fill the style tag. Okay. I'm not going for that at all. But within the template tag, it's a good practice that I was saying is that div tag, class it as test uh, page, test page. Right? Within this test page, I can have fun with this. For example, I write this. Okay, and h1 tag along with two p tags. Right? So what can I do? I can go to index.js. Right? After this, I can import, or instead, let me just comment this and comment this. Change it to test view, test view, and after that is done, I will just go ahead and declare a path test. I can skip the name part component. Okay, the name is not being used. We'll be seeing that. I'll be using that. Okay, but anyways, I have made a path for that, and let's see. If I go to test, I expect to see this. Yes, and I can see that test page. Right, that is one that I was creating. Even just for the sake of completion, I'm doing this name. Right, it doesn't make a difference. But the next thing that I want to do is there is one more thing. That is, I was talking about the template. Template as in whatever view that we will be seeing on our screens. Right. Next thing, whatever logic and the backend stuff that is needed for backend stuff, as in the background of how the page is working, is staying within the script tag, right? So, for example, I have a div tag page feed. I am not sure if the correct spelling. If I yield, yeah, I so my bad. I'm bad with spellings. So I have a div tag and I can add a label for it. For what input tag? Write something over here, and that could have a ID as what? Something. So first things first. Let's not add about it. But what I want to do. This is the test page, right? Acha. Before I go to that, there is one more thing that I want. That is, let's cover this name wala thing. Okay, what's that name wala thing? Then I'm coming to that field. Okay, even I am giving a name to this one too. So what is or how is that working? If you have done your Mat1 project, or if you are doing it, you will find that there is a method from Flask library that is URL for. And what it does, I am not sure if I have done it in day 0, but I might have done it. Yes, I have URL for. If you find it, I have used it over there. So what is happening? Basically, whenever the task is done, whenever I am done saving the data, that I'm redirecting to a specific endpoint, right? I could have specified the endpoint over here, like query data. Query data is slash query data. I could have added that manually, but why did I do URL for? That is basically I'm giving out the method name that is on line 36. And for that method, whatever endpoint is being attached to that specific method, I it will be URL for will be fetching that specific endpoint and will be including that in this redirect. Okay, so I do not have to manually write it at default location. Rather, it can be dynamic. Right? In a similar way, in here, like I can use that name, right? Instead of giving out the specific path or write down a default path, I can do it dynamically. That is in router link. Router link is having that two attribute, and till this point they have written it by default, right? Instead, what I want to do, at least for test, instead of writing it as test, I would change it. I would use the name. You have to, like, I do not have much time to explain in deeper what am I doing or how is that working. But they, like, I guess in both in screencast video and the lecture video they have discussed this. That is to make an attribute dynamic, okay, within that tag. To add that, I would just include a colon before the attribute, and after two, in here I am just adding a JSON object, okay? The name and the value to it. Added a test, okay. Now here's the thing. I can go to home, about, and test. Working fine as it was. See, slash test. How to verify? Oh, even to verify. Previously, there was nothing in test, right? But still, I added in the nav bar. And in the nav bar, I have a. Okay, I did wrote slash test. Okay, anyways, let's do a change. That is, let's change the path to something else. Okay, some random thing. It cannot get it directly. But if I am on slash test, it's not like the router view router is considering a different path for the test view. So it's not visible in slash test. But if I go to home, I can see home, I can see about. Now if I click on test, what it will do? It would send me to the newer endpoint. Basically, it is regenerating it. So like refetching whatever path that I declare over here. Right? So that is how we can make it dynamic, and it's a better choice to choose for every time. Even path parameter and stuff will be like I will be discussing that tomorrow, or tomorrow as in the next day. So I will be trying to follow this format. And everything works fine as it was. Last part is this field, okay, that I was talking about, test field. In here, what you want to do, the end user will be seeing the template and stuff on their screen, right? And they will be interacting within this template. Now it's your responsibility, or the script will be finally doing the or handling the page, right? So anyhow, for example, what am I trying to say over here is that I want to write something, and if you remember, there is the console, right? I want to print whatever that I write over here, or at least I want to get it into the variable or in the data field, right? How can I do it? I just need to pass whatever data that the client, whatever the client is, or the end user is trying to add it to the field in the script tag. How can I do it? By declaring the data fields. Right? Firstly, I want to declare a field, and in here, in the field, let it be what test data. Yeah, test data, and it is empty as of now. Okay. Now, test data is there. If I want to render out the test data in here, I can do that too. This dot test data. Okay. You can see it on the screen. But before that, I will just add something else to that is okay. File is empty as of now. If I write something, still it won't be filled. But I will be doing something that is v model or v bind. You check that on your own that what you want to do. And in here, I want to include this dot test data. What it will do at the what do you say the current time we are, whatever change that we are doing, we can see it on our screen because view is reactive in nature, right? So, for example, I write I is see you can see it in this too, right? So that is how I can say that the variable is getting populated. Next thing, I want to print whatever that I write in this field in the console. How can I do it? See, I'll be having one button over here, button, and let the type. I do not need to set a type over here. Print it on the console, in or on, or whatever it is. I'm not worried about that. How can I add a space? Actually, okay. Anyways, forget about it. So if I click on this button, what I want, whatever that I write over here, it should be printed on the terminal. How can I do it? Is next step is declaring the method. After the data field, I would declare a method. Okay, print data. Right. And now if I print like what is being done in this method, print data, it is basically logging the console with this variable, right? Whatever there is in the variable, it's getting like it's getting printed on the console. How can I do it? In here in the button, I have v on, right? uh, v on colon click. If I click on this button, it should go ahead and run this method that is print data. Print data. Okay. So what is happening? The button is being attached to that method. So if I click on this button, see v on click. If I click on that button, it should run this method. Okay. Let's see if it is happening. I will open up the console. Console is emptied out, and if I write hi my name is Anshul, print, and it is working. So this is a very quick view that you can do, right? Go through it. There are so many multiple things and multiple points that you would like to see and test out by yourself. Right? Have a look on those and try it out. Okay. Try to make the changes, do some fun stuff, edit, right? Whatever that you want to do. Just have a look on the front end. Chalo, that is it for today. The next day we'll be finishing off backend along with securing and how we'll be using the token, right? Because the backend is totally being secured with token. Either I do not supply the token, it won't be responding back. Those things we'll be checking out and how we'll be creating the dashboards, how we can do the rest of the stuff. We'll be seeing that out. That's all for today. If you have anything to ask, we can take that up. Else, I'll just make the changes and yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the session.
Thanks a lot.
All right. See you then. Bye.
See you. Bye, Ajay.
Bye bye.